Hi teachers. For this session, we're going to learn how to handle problems on averages. But I would first like to welcome all of you and to believe in yourselves that whatever circumstances you are in or whatever you think is your level of fluency with mathematics, all of us are endowed with gifts of being able to calculate mentally. And this is what we will more or less try to develop so that we could proceed with computations as fast as we can. Let us know with a comment if you would like to participate in a live mocklet exam. If we're able to reach a reasonable number of participants to a mock exam, after sufficient review videos have been uploaded by this channel, we will prepare one. So help us grow this channel, invite your friends so that we can have a live mock exam prior to the actual LET exam for this year. Thank you, and let's proceed. So let's start. For number 1, we are given that a DOST scholarship demands an average grade of 89 for each semester. So one enrolled in 5 major subjects must have an overall of 89 as an average. So our reference value will be 89. That we're given the grades for 4 of the 5 subjects, which are 92, 88, 87, 86.5. We now will have to refer to 92 as 89 plus 3. So that's what you write. And 88 is 89 minus 1. 87 is 89 minus 2. And 86.5 is 89 minus negative or minus 2.5. So what we will have to do is reflect for the 5th subject the average of 89, and then we need to cancel out all of this, okay, so that the sum of all of these adjustments becomes 0. So when we try to look in here, what you do is go, this is plus 3 and this will be a set of negative 3. So we cancel this and then that. We are left with a negative 2.5. To cancel that, we need to add positive 2.5 to 89, granting us the final answer of 91.5. The traditional solution for this would be to realize that for us to have an average of 89 for the 5 subjects, we will have to have 89 times 5 or a total of 445 for the 5 subjects. And then when we add up all of the 4 grades given, that's equal to 353, which we subtract from 445, giving us as what we were able to find easily the average grade for the 5th subject of 91.5. So I hope that's clear. So let's work with the second example. For the second example, Vin is given a daily allowance of 150. So if a week's allowance was given in advance to Vin and his expenses are given from Monday to Saturday, what we're asked for would be the remaining allowance for the last day, which is Sunday. So what do we do? We're supposed to more or less facilitate computation as fast as we can. The zeros we need to cancel out. You may not write down all the days, but let's account for the allowances or the expenses for Monday through Saturday. So the reference value in here is 150. So 154 will be 150 plus 4. 128 will be 150 minus 22. 147 will be 150 minus 3. 62 will be 150 plus 12, and 139 is 150 minus 11, and 156 will be 150 plus 6. Now, to compute for the remaining allowance for Sunday, the base value in here will be 150. Okay, so that 150 comes from that. And then what we need to do is to add up everything in here so that they sum up to 0. So how do we handle this so that we can manage these things, no? So what you do is go for the positives, that's plus 4, plus 12, plus 6, which is positive 22, and this cancels out with negative 22. So the remaining values that we need to zero out would be negative 3 plus negative 11, which will be negative 14, plus positive 14 will give us a sum for this column of 0. And so our final answer will be 150 plus 14, or a value of 164. So for those of you who would like to go for the traditional solution, the way to do it will be 150 times 7, which will be for 7 days, or a total allowance of 1,050 pesos. When we sum up all of these values given from Monday to Saturday, that will sum up to 886. So 1,050 minus 886 will clearly, okay, confirm that the remaining allowance for Sunday will have to be 164 pesos. What you need to realize is that when you sum up all of this, it will take time. But when you are able to do the adjustment as fast as you can, so you will be handling, okay, you will be handling values that are much smaller than the values you need to handle when you add up all the values from Monday through Saturday. Okay, so let's go for the third. For number 3, we need to recognize that a sari-sari store, okay, pays the Bombay collection representative, okay, on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays for an average daily remittance of 235 pesos. So if we're given that for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the income for the sari-sari store are 227, 241, and 262. So our reference in here is the average of 235 pesos daily income that the store owner has to realize so that he's able to pay up. But if the Bombay collector, loan repayment collector, allows for shortages prior to Friday, as long as these are offset on the final collection day for the week, which is on a Friday, then we will have to say 227 is 235 minus 8, 241 is 235 plus 6, and 262 is 235 plus 27. So to find the value for Friday, we will have to reference this value from the average of 235, and then we need to adjust the column value so that this will sum up to 0. And then because we have negative 8 to cancel out with positive 6, and we need to take away from 27 2 more, so that will give us a positive 25 to be offset by a negative 25, so that the final value which we seek would have to be 235 minus 25 will be equal to 210 pesos. For number 4, Zane is a heavy truck driver for a major national distributor. The contract that he has with this company, okay, mandates or provides that he should drive a maximum of 320 kilometers per day for 6 days. So that would be the average maximum, okay, mileage that he should have. So if we are given that his mileage for the preceding week except for day 6, okay, and we are given this, okay, these values. So what will be our reference value for this? Our reference value will be the average of 320 kilometers maximum mileage per day. So 342 will be 320 plus 22. 297 will be 320 minus 23. 346 will be 320 plus 26. 318 will be 320 minus 2. 338 will be 320 plus 18. Okay, and so to compute for the 6th day maximum mileage, we will have to go 320 reference on that 320 value that we have in there, and then as before we need to adjust the column value to sum up to 0. Okay, and then how do we handle this? Okay, so what you do is you sum up the positives and then the negatives. Okay, so if we go by this is 22 and negative 23, so we need to take away, okay, 1 from, let's say there's a 1 in there that we need to account for, plus negative 2, so we take away from 18 3, so we have to have in here positive 15. Okay, so positive 26 plus 15 will be positive 41. To offset that so that the sum becomes 0, we need to minus 41 from 320, so our final answer will be 279. Okay, so in the traditional mode of doing this, what we need to do is to compute for 320 times 6, which will be 1920 or 1920, and the total for the 5 days will be 1641. Okay, and so we subtract 1641 from 1920, we still will need to come up with the value of a maximum mileage for the 6th day of 279. Okay, if you have questions, okay. For number 5, we're given that pilots are strictly mandated by the Federal Aviation Administration to observe an average uninterrupted sleep of 8 hours between flight duties within the 10-hour rest between flights, and we're given that Mr. Tomo, who is an active pilot working for 7 days straight during the summer busy schedule, and that we're given his sleeping periods as 6, 7.2, 8.3, 6.58, and 5.2. So if we have to have the reference of 8 hours, 6 will be 8 minus 2, 7.2 is 8 minus 0.8, 8.3 is 8 plus 0.3, 6.5 is 8 minus 1.5, and 8 is 8 plus 0, and 5.2 is 8 minus 2.8. Okay, so to get the amount of sleep Mr. Tomo has to have on the seventh day, if he is allowed to offset the lack of sleep for the preceding 6 days, then we need to have for the column a sum of 0 to offset all of this value with the quantity. Okay, so what we do is 0.3, okay, positive will be taken out from negative 0.8, understanding that negative 0.8 plus positive 0.3 will be negative 0.5, and all the rest are negatives. We add them up. Negative 2.5 plus negative 1.5 plus negative 2.8 is 6.8. So 8 plus 6.8, our final answer in here will be equal to 14.8 hours. Okay, for item 6, we are given that Bree Trucking Service, okay, hauls rice from a shipload of imported rice from Vietnam. And this trucking company has 6 trucks allowed to haul an average of 3,200 kilograms per truck for each loading schedule. So our reference value in here will be 3,200 kilograms. Okay, so for the given values of the 5 trucks loaded with rice, 3,050 will be 3,200 minus 150. 3,300 will be 3,200 plus 100. 3,440 will be 3,200 plus 240. 3,250 will be equal to 3,200 plus 50, and 3,610 is 3,200 plus 410. Okay, so for the 6th truck, we will have to have a reference value of 3,200. Okay, and then we know that all of this must sum up to 0. Okay, but how do we cancel things out? Okay, so if we have, okay, positive 50 plus positive 100, that will cancel out with negative 150. So the remaining values that we need to offset will be 240 positive plus 410, or a total of 650. This being positive, we offset that with negative 650, giving us the final value of 2,000. Okay, so that's equal to 2,550 kilograms. Okay, are we clear? For this problem, we will have to be careful because we're given a supply of 20 gallons of alcohol, which will have to be distributed to 10 individuals, consisting of teachers and administration staff. Of the 10, 8 teachers and admin staff have been given in liters of alcohol, the given volumes. So what we need to do is to synchronize the units. So we will have to convert 20 gallons to liters. So the way to do that is we multiply this 20 gallons with 4 liters per gallon.
Okay, so the gallons will cancel out, and 20 times 4 liters will be 80 liters. So if we need to distribute 80 liters to 10 individuals, so that will give us an average of 8 liters. Okay, so our reference in here will be 8. We need to be careful because we're accounting for 8 individuals. So 4.5 is 8 minus, okay, so minus 3.5 minus 6.3 is 8 minus 1.7. 3.5 is 8 minus 4.5. 3 is 8 minus 5. 4 is 8 minus 4. And 3.7 is 8 minus 4.3. And 5.3 is 8 minus 2.7. And 5.5 is 8 minus 2.5. Okay, so we're going to account for 2 other individuals, but we need to sum up all of this so that whatever we need to add in here can give us a sum for this column of 0. So the reference value for the 9th individual and the 10th, that will be 8 liters. Okay, 8 liters. So we will have to be careful that we want to find the value of how much these 2 individuals equally shared in terms of the remaining volume of alcohol. Now, how do we cancel out all of this? So when we look at the values, okay, all of these are negative. Okay, so what we do now is to add everything up. So that's 17, 20 plus 12, that will be 32, carry 3. So that's 7, 11, 16, 20, 26, and 28.2. So 28.2 negative will have to be offset by positive 28.2. So if this 28.2 will be equally shared by these 2 individuals, so we will have to add to this. Okay, half of 28.2 will be 14.1. And so each individual of the 2 remaining, okay, which needs to share the remaining volume, so that will give us for each of these a volume of 8 plus 14.1 or 22.1 liters each. Okay. So this now will be the value of the volume of alcohol for each of these 2 other. So if we're given that for individual performance commitment and review rating, okay, so Miss Divine targets a very satisfactory rating of 4.5 for her 8 classes. Okay, so what we're given in here will be the ratings for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we will have to be careful that she has 8 classes. Okay, and we are asked for the total rating for the 2 other classes. So a reference value in here will be 4.5. So you know the drill. This is minus 0.4. Okay, this is plus 0.2. Okay, this is plus 1. This will be
minus, okay, minus 1.0. 4.2 is minus 0.3. 3.9 is 4.5 minus 0.6. And 4.2 will be 4.5 minus 0.3. Okay, so our reference values for these two other subjects will be 4.5 and 4.5 each. And then we again will have to offset all of these values, okay, so that everything becomes 0. They sum up to 0. So we have the positive 0.2. Okay, where do we get that from? Okay, so we get this from in here. Cancel this positive, okay, with the negative in here, but we need to realize that there's a remainder of 0.2. Okay, and then adding up everything to 5, 11, 14. Okay, carry 1, so that's a negative 2.4 negative. Okay, so we need to add up in here plus for the 2.4. Okay, so what will be the total rating? Okay, for the two classes it will be 9 plus 2.4 equal to 11.4. Okay, so are we clear in here? So let's go now for the ninth example. So we have the small scale gold mining livelihood for some residents of Camarines Sur, and a family of 8 is able to mine an average of 0.38 grams of gold. How much gold did the father extract if the rest of the family members were able to extract the following? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 and 7. Okay, so we will have to provide in here, let's say 0.40. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, 0.40. And so we have the father in here. So if now, what will be a reference? A reference will be 0.38 grams. Okay, so this one is minus 0.2, and then this one is minus, okay, 0.14. This one is minus 0.26. This one is plus 0.01. This one is plus, okay, 0.08, and this is plus 0.12, and this is plus 0.02. Okay, so the reference value for the father in here will be 0.38. Okay, and so for us to have a column value sum of 0, we will have to add up all the positives with the negative. So how you manage this is this one together will give us positive 0.2 will cancel out with the negative 0.2. Okay, and we have in here positive 0.01 and positive 0.02. Okay, so we will have to take that away as in here, instead of the 6, whichever way you want it, we will have to cancel this 2, okay, from here. So this 6 becomes a 3, just to make things faster. So when we add negative 0.14 with negative 0.23, then that gives us that we need to offset that with 0.37. Okay, so for the father's gold value in terms of weight will be 0.38 plus 0.37. So that gives us a value equal to, okay, 0.7. That's 15 carry 1, 75 grams. That's what the father was able to realize. Okay, now for number 10, what do we have in here? We have a group of friends who slowly invested on a set of apartments which they rent out. And to provide competitive rental rates, they have included electricity consumption, okay, in the rent, okay, for each of the 7 apartments, okay. So if the budget allocation for each of the apartments rent is equal to 1,800, and that we're given that for the 6 of the apartments we were given these electricity bills. Okay, so in here again, what's our reference value? 1,800. So the drill will be, this is a minus 100, okay, this is a minus 120, this is plus, okay, 140, okay, this is plus 300, okay, this is plus 70, and this one is plus 200. Okay, so we are asked what must be the maximum electricity bill for the last apartment. Okay, so our reference in here for the last apartment will be 1,800, and we need to offset everything in there. Okay, so we have 100 plus negative 100 and negative 20 added up will give us negative 220. Okay, so how do we handle this? I handle this visually. This will cancel out, no? But we need 20. Okay, so what I do is take away 20 from in here. I cancel the 20 with that, and what remains in here will be 50. Okay, so what do we have in here? So we need to offset this with a negative 0. Okay, that's a 9, and that's a 400. Okay, so when we handle this, 1,800 minus 490, okay, that will give us 1,310. Okay, so this is the final bill, so that the value for all of the 7 apartments will add up to an average of 1,800 each of the apartments. Okay, so I hope you have been able to adopt a technique whereby what you can do is actually visually just plus minus within the questionnaire of the licensure exam for teachers. You don't have to rewrite them in columns, but then that you follow whatever needs to be added or subtracted to the reference value. Okay, so if you have questions, you can you can ask by commenting on the video. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Uploads on the other components of the licensure exam for teachers will be given out, and a mock exam for those interested may be designed and developed by me. So let me know if there is a need or there's enough subscribers for the final mock exam prior to your licensure exam. Okay, thank you very much. Kindly subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let us know if you like this discussion. Bye.
Help us provide free review materials for individuals who would like to prepare for the licensure exam for teachers, the civil service exam, college entrance test, and other screening tests. Kindly subscribe and share this channel with your friends. Thank you very much.